Alright, so all the early games is in the books, and I'll tell you what, I was actually very happy the fact that I'm able to do this right now and not like maybe 30 minutes or even an hour later, because I did check the weather in Houston for this Dynamo versus LAFC game, and the weather app basically said that there was potentially some thunderstorm in this game, and I was worried that this game was going to be delayed. And obviously, since I have to do my ground hop a little bit later today, I just cannot afford for this game to be delayed for more than an hour. Before I probably would not able to do this review for the matinee games before I of course do my ground hop later today. But thankfully, that is not, of course, the case. This game kicked off right on schedule, and it seems like the thunderstorm that the weather app basically said it was going to happen never happened in the Houston area. But that being said, let us actually get into the first game, which was the Red Bulls versus the Chicago Fire, and the Red Bulls are on the winning column as they get a 2-0 win in this game, and also Garrett Stubert getting his first win as the head coach of New York Red Bulls in this game. The Red Bulls early on, they dominate possession, but there wasn't really much chance to speak of, and that, from what I've seen with most of these day games, unlike the previous 2 weeks where it seemed like these matinee games, they always start very frantically. That was not the case for this week. A lot of these matinee games kind of started very slow, and this, of course, were one of them. The first chance was in the 17-minute, or actually no, this was actually a potential controversial moment for the Chicago Fire after there was a shout for a penalty from Chicago after Barrich thought that he was brought down by Aaron Long, and I think the only reason why this was not called a penalty was because the linesman actually raised the flag. Have the linesman have not raised the flag, I have no doubt that this definitely is going to be a penalty, because you can clearly see Long basically brought down Barrich in the box and pretty much put hands in him to wrestle him down into the box. But thankfully, Aaron Long was saved by the flag, and that this, of course, was pretty much a dead play before a potential penalty was going to be awarded to the Chicago Fire. But then in the 34th minute, Francisco Calvo tried to do a bicycle kick and trying to have an early goal of the week kind of contention, but unfortunately this one went straight to Cornell, although it's not a bad effort in terms of him trying to go with a bicycle kick. I mean, usually when I see a player go for a bicycle kick, either it's gonna end up into the back of the net and it's a spectacular goal, or the fact that it's going to probably go way wide. But the fact that he's able to put that one on target, not a bad effort from Francisco Calvo. But then Fabio on the other end struck the post in the 36th minute before Tom Barlow should have scored in the 40th minute as he pulled his 6-yard effort just wide of the net. I mean, that's pretty typical of Tom Barlow, who is a player that has been in that club of a cursed striker that just, for whatever reason, aren't able to put the ball into the back of the net, no matter how good of a position they are in right now. But we head to halftime at 0-0 in this one, and in the second half, we got to set up the opening goal of this game. And it's Cáceres Jr. that gets the opening goal from Fabio to give the Red Bulls a 1-0 lead. And then it would be 2-0 in favor of the Red Bulls just 17 minutes later. And it's Caden Clark that is able to score from Davis and Fabio. And when Caden Clark scores, it's going to be an absolute banger. And indeed it is. I mean, that was kind of a karate kick-esque kind of goal that Clark basically scored that one, and definitely going to be in early contention for goal of the week. But yeah, that gives the Red Bulls a 2-0 lead, and I was thinking, well, the Red Bulls of course got the 2-0 lead, but now I expect the Fire should have some pushback, right? Because after all, when you saw what they've done in the first 2 games, they are one of the team that create the most chance in the league, but that pushback just never happened in this game. And in fact, as we get near the end of this game, it looked like it was the Red Bulls, the one that potentially is going to get that next goal and get that third goal of this game. Shuttleworth robbed Fernandez late in this game from close range as the Red Bulls almost made it 3-0 at that point. But in the end, it was a comfortable 2-0 win for the Red Bulls in this game, as the shots in this one 14 shots compared to 6 that Chicago has, 6 shots on goal compared to 4 that the Fire had, no shots off target compared to 6 that the Red Bulls had. Both teams had 2 shots that was blocked, and possession-wise, 56% possession compared to 44% possession that the New York Red Bulls had in this game. But again, it was a very comfortable resort for the Red Bulls, and for Chicago, this was just simply a game where they just didn't show up whatsoever. I mean, the stats pretty much tells you the story, and also the fact that I didn't really recall a time where they were even threatening going for on the attack, or even and had a big opportunity to score a goal in this one. But now moving on, in terms of the next match, is RSL and Sporting KC. So RSL in this game basically proved that last game against Minnesota was not a fluke whatsoever, because they were able to take down Sporting KC in this game, although it didn't look like that was going to be the case early in this one. Despite the fact that it was a slow start again in this game for the first 15 minutes, where neither side really had some good chances, I thought Sporting KC was dictating the play in this game, and they would eventually get on the board first in the 17th minute, as Alan Pulido, who of course started this game, and both Pulido and Johnny Russo actually started it in this game, which that's definitely great news if you're a Sporting KC fan, although Russo did kind of came off in the second half, and I believe Pulido actually gone the full 90 in this game, but he also got a goal in this one, which he scores from Kyrie Shelton to make it 1-0 in favor of SKC, and that was a lovely build-up from Sporting KC, where Shelton basically plays that one to the middle, and it was actually Busio that was able to provide a little nice dummy to allow Pulido to pretty much get acres of space to the left, and he basically makes no mistake and slots that one home to make it 1-0 in favor of SKC. And in fact, I feel like Busio should at least get an assist for that, because even though I know he didn't touch the ball, which that maybe is the reason why he's not going to get the assist, the way that he basically dummied that one and completely froze the RSL backline was really the reason why it allowed Pulido to have acres of space on the left side to basically slot that one home to give SKC a 1-0 lead. And then in the 30th minute, there was more bad news for RSL, as it looks like Aaron Herrera was subbed off of what appeared to be a quad injury. Brody, of course, would be replace him, and this is actually the first ever game that Andrew Brody, of course, play in this one, so he's, of course, making his MLS debut. And little do we know that he actually made an instant impact, because 5 minutes later, after he was subbed in, he would be on the assist chart of Damar Krylak, who was able to hit that one away to tie the game up at 1 apiece. And after that goal, it seemed like the momentum was with RSL, and that momentum that they have, they would never let go of it for the rest of the game, because in the second half, they continue to look strong, and in the 47th minute, they clearly should have been 2-1 up, as Anderson Julio probably had the miss of the season so far, where he was basically wide open in the back post, an empty net to shoot that one, and yet somehow in some way he hit that one wide. I think he maybe even hit the post on the way, but yeah, that was definitely a miss that Anderson Julio would not want to look back. But fortunately for him and his team, they eventually did get that 2-1 lead, and it happened in the 52nd minute, as Rubio Rubin continued to be one of the surprising uprising player for this RSL team, as he scored from Krylak to make it 2-1 in favor of RSL. And you can clearly see RSL was coming out of this second half with more energy than what SKC had, and really continued to ride the momentum that they have ever since they got the equalizer. In the 67th minute, Rusnak did hit one just wide from 19 yards out before they would make it 3-1 in favor of Sporting KC. And it's Rubin again scoring in the 77th minute. That was a great individual goal where he was able to turn a couple of SKC defender, but you also would argue that was also terrible defending from SKC. Like the fact that they had like 4 guys that was near Rubin, and they weren't able to either block the shot or even take that ball away. That's definitely something that I think is going to drive Peter Vermees absolutely nuts when he looked back at this. But in the end, RSL were able to get the 3-1 win, and the shots in this game, 10 shots compared to 6 that SKC had, 4 shots on goal compared to 1 that SKC had, 4 shots off target compared to 3 that SKC had. Both teams had 2 shots that was blocked, and possession-wise, 55% possession compared to 45% possession that Sporting KC had in this game. And, again, RSL, they have definitely been one of the surprising package now, getting 6 points in their first 2 games. And we'll see whether or not they, of course, can continue that in their next couple of games. But if you're Sporting KC, this was definitely the worst game that they played this season. And you know how I talk about one of the biggest Achilles heel for Sporting KC, and a thing that maybe is the reason why they're not at that level of potentially competing for MLS Cup, is the defense. And today they basically proved me right with the defense. Just look absolutely horrendous at time in this game. And this is also why I said in the offseason, the fact that they did not do anything and did not make any signings to basically upgrade their defense does make me very concerned about this team going forward this season. And we'll see whether or not in the summer if they're going to make some defensive reinforcement, because this is just this is just kind of a game where it's pretty clear that if SKC are going to get to that next level to be considered an MLS Cup contender out of the West, they need to have a better defense than what they show in this game. But now, moving on, in terms of the next match, is going to be Montreal and Columbus, which ended in a goalless draw. And when you watch this full 90 minutes, yeah, it was pretty rightfully so that this game ended in a 0-0 draw. And unfortunately, this was also one of those 0-0 draw that it was kind of a bit of a board fest. Although it was kind of expected with the way that Columbus, clearly they were coming into this game kind of punting this game away. And although Columbus did kind of start I would say it was kind of a mix of a strong but also a reserve squad that they had, because they did have a couple of players in the starting 11 in this game that did play in that CCL quarterfinal first leg game against Rayados, but they also had a mixture of guys that haven't been playing for this team, and that you can also see that near the end of the game they were also kind of just holding on for dear life because of the fatigue that was shown on this team. But early on in the first half, I thought Montreal started the first 15 minutes of this game as the stronger side. They had a chance in the 18th minute when Kyoto had a 17-yard shot that goes straight to Eloy Room. Then Diop was able to rob BWP, who went through on goal, but even if BWP would have scored that goal, it would have been disallowed for offside, as that was really the last good chance we had in the first half. Again, the first half, just like these previous two games, was a very slow and just a game where chances was really at a premium, or chances was really at a premium in terms of the first half. Now, heading into the second half, after we head to halftime goalless, we did have a chance in the 57th minute when Hurtado shot one that was actually deflected, but it actually went wide. Then there was almost a disastrous moment for the crew at the back after there was a mix-up between Room and his defense, where Room basically come off his lines. Looked like he was going to claim that one, but he completely missed that one. And fortunately, Vito Vongro was just in a good position to clear that one away, because if he wasn't there and if there was no crew player was able to get to it, one of the Montreal player was going to be able to tap it into the empty net. Then we fast forward in the 81st minute, where Kyoto just hit one wide. During that point, Montreal was really pressing for the winner in the last 10 minutes, and again, the fatigue was really starting to show from the crew. Although they almost had a smash and grab goal in the 85th minute when BWP again thought that he of course scored the opening goal of this game, but unfortunately the goal was disallowed as he was in an offside position. And in the end, this game ends in a scoreless draw between both of these teams, and the shots in this game, 20 shots compared to 3 that Columbus had. So Montreal by far out shooting Columbus in this game, but here's the problem. They only had 3 shots on goal in this one compared to nothing that Columbus had in this one. So in many ways, Montreal kind of got the Minnesota treatment with them shooting bunch of shots in this game, but it turns out only 3 of them actually went on target. 5 of them, of course, went off target compared to 2 that Columbus had. 12 shots that was blocked compared to 1 that Columbus had, and possession-wise, 56% possession compared to 44% possession that Columbus had. And in the end, I think a 0-0 draw is pretty much the rightfully resort in this one. And if you're Montreal, I guess they'll be happy that they got a point against the defending champ, but also with the way that I think they were kind of the better team in this game, they will be definitely left frustrated that they couldn't get all 3 points against a Columbus team that was clearly playing with their reserve squad. Well, it wasn't really a reserve squad, but more kind of a reserve and a starter squad coming into this one. But it was also a game where you can clearly see Caleb Porter is coming into this game just hope to get a no draw out of this game, because he knows that there is that important game against Rayados, and that he doesn't want his player to really, or even some of the starters that he has in this game, he doesn't want them to really go all out, so that they can basically be tired out by that second leg game against Rayados. But in the end, he of course got exactly what he wanted, which is a no draw. And although I know Columbus, to start the season, I don't think a lot of people would have thought that they would start the season with back-to-back no draw. Consider how the schedule that they're in, and also the injuries that they're dealing with. I think it's fair to say that they'll be happy the fact that they of course start the season with 2 no draw, even though that's probably something that I think Columbus fans would not want to see their team do that much going forward, after they of course had done with that CCL quarterfinal game against Rayados. Because after that, even if they do move on to the semifinal, it will be another 3 months before Columbus is going to be back in CCL action. But now moving on into the last game on this board, which was Houston versus LAFC. And again, as I mentioned, I thought this game was probably going to be delayed. That's why I actually tuned into this game. I think 5 minutes later, or 5 minutes after the whistle was blown. And as soon as I tuned into this game, there was a loud screeching sound that was heard throughout the Twitter broadcast. And, it's unfortunate the fact that I wasn't able to mute this broadcast in time, because every time when I tune into this one, they of course have the sound. So yeah, I had to hear that screeching sound, and it was definitely not an enjoyable sound to hear, and also kind of just sums up why I say Twitter broadcasts are just absolutely awful. But in the 12th minute, Marich was able to deny Diego Rossi, who tried to poke one in. Rossi had a really quiet game in this one, and also there was no Vela for LAFC in this game, and I think they, even though they got Rossi back into this game, it is pretty clear that LAFC still really miss Vela, and that if they are going to be a team that maybe is going to compete for MLS Cup, they really need both Vela and Rossi to be on the same pitch. And also, I think maybe Rossi might not be 100% is the reason why he didn't really had a good game, and he was relatively quiet in this one. But yeah, that was really his best chance of the game, but unfortunately Marich was able to deny him there. Then Urruti should have scored on the back post, and I know this was a header that Urruti basically had from a tight angle, but the way that he kind of had an empty net to shoot from that back from that tight angle in the back post, you would think at least he could at least put that one on target, but unfortunately he wasn't able to do so. Then Memo Rodriguez hit one just wide just 2 minutes later, and Houston, they were definitely showing some potency on the attack, while LAFC, they were very quiet on the attack up to that point, and was really really quiet throughout the entire first half on the attacking end. Then Memo Rodriguez had another chance in the 38th minute, but unfortunately blazed a 23-yard shot that went high before Cesiago would deny Corona in the 41st minute, and we head to halftime 0-0 between both of these teams. Now, in the second half, Houston basically picked up where they left off, which is continued to dominate this game. Cesiago would have to make another save, denying Fafa Pico, who I think Pico was actually in an offside position, so even if this one actually went into the back of the net, it wouldn't have counted. But then in the 55th minute, we got ourselves an opener, and I don't know if should I say this goal was kind of against the run of play, but I guess maybe with how Houston was kind of dominating this game, you could maybe say that of course is the case. And also, by the way, this goal was also kind of controversial too, because while Corey Barrett did score this goal from Latif Blessing, I thought Corey Bear was in an offside position, and they only show one replay on the Twitter stream, and that one replay I saw on the Twitter stream, it definitely looked like Corey Bear was maybe a yard offside, but apparently they go to VAR and they said that the goal was good and that they think that Bear was not in an offside position. And I know Houston fans was definitely very upset about that, because again, that one replay that they show, it definitely looked like Corey Bear was in an offside position. But they make amends of that just 1 minute later, as Tyler Pasher would score from Fafa Pico, and I think that kind of amends and that goal that they score is a classic example of what happened when ball don't lie. Like, you know, LAFC might have got gifted because of a call that should have been offside, and that Houston, it looked like they were kind of getting VAR'd in this game, but immediately they were able to find a way to get the equalizer, and almost like the soccer guards basically award Houston a chance to get back into this game after a potential blown call that we saw in VAR just a couple of minutes ago. But then Maric in the 63rd minute was able to deny Atuesta, and I thought the game was starting to open up in this one, and I thought maybe we're going to be set for a very exciting last 30 minutes of this game. No. Unfortunately, this game kind of went back to that stalemate kind of pace that we kind of saw a lot of that in the first half. In the 85th minute, there was a looping being crossed from one of the LAFC player. I don't know who exactly that was. It might have been either Muswatsky or Atuesta, but it was a looping cross that was coming in, and it actually just missed high, and it definitely had Maric basically scramble into his net, but he's pretty thankful that one just went high off the post. Then in the 92nd minute, Mateus Vera did had a chance to drive one in, but it went straight to Sesiaga, and in the end, it ends in a 1-1 draw between the Dynamo and LAFC. And also, let me just get my phone out now, because I just realized I forgot to put my shots or my stats for this game, put the stats for this game on the board, so I'll just quickly pull it up right here. Actually, let me see. There we go. So the stats for this game, Houston, of course, had 12 shots compared to 10 that LAFC had. 4 shots on goal apiece from both of these teams, and let me see the shots off target. There was 5 shots off target for Houston compared to 4 that LAFC had. 3 shots that was blocked compared to 2 that LAFC had. And possession-wise, 61% possession compared to 39% possession. And that, of course, is in favor of LAFC. But overall, I think a 1-1 draw is a fair result for both of these teams, because I didn't really think either of these team were likely to potentially get all 3 points, although I think maybe if you're a Houston fan, you would kind of say so, because, you know, that goal that they allowed probably shouldn't have counted if they actually look at VAR a little bit more closely, and that probably should have been called back for offside. But either way, it ends in a 1-1 draw between both of these teams to pretty much finish the matinee game action for this Saturday. And, you know, tonight we are going to have 6 more games that is going to happen, although most of those games, unfortunately, is not going to be able to watch, because, again, I am going to be ground hopping in about 40 minutes from now. And once I do finish with my ground hop that is part of the Sports Hop series, hopefully I'll be back just in time to watch that DC United versus San Jose Earthquakes match, which that one doesn't start until 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of all 4 of these matinee games that happened today? And yeah, I, of course, will see you guys next time.